What's up, Multiverse Maniacs? Welcome back. Today we are diving into a mind-bending theory that's about to change how you see the MCU forever. Today we're diving deep into one of the most overlooked possibilities in the MCU. What if the Hulk actually remembers that Spider-Man is Peter Parker? I know what you're thinking. The spell. Doctor Strange made everyone forget. But hold on to your web shooters because this theory has some serious legs and the implications are absolutely game-changing. Before we swing into this theory, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more multiverse madness. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be looking at every Hulk and Spider-Man interaction completely differently. So here's the big question. Could Bruce Banner and the Hulk still know Peter Parker's secret identity? And if so, what does this mean for Spider-Man's future? Let's break this down. At the end of No Way Home, Doctor Strange casts a spell that makes everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Let's think about the unique nature of Bruce Banner and the Hulk. We're not dealing with one consciousness here. We're dealing with two distinct personalities sharing the same body. Banner is the brilliant scientist, but the Hulk is something else entirely. Throughout the MCU, we've seen that the Hulk operates on a completely different level of consciousness. He's not just Bruce's anger. He's a separate entity with his own memories, his own relationships, and his own understanding of the world. Remember in Thor Ragnarok when Hulk had been conscious for 2 years straight? He formed relationships, he had preferences, he even had his own room. While Banner did achieve that merger and became Smart Hulk for the final battle against Thanos, we learned in Shang-Chi's post-credit scene that Banner had actually reverted back to his fully human form by that point. His arm was in a sling, he was clearly just Bruce Banner again, not the merged Smart Hulk we saw in Endgame. This means that by the time of No Way Home, Banner and the Hulk were likely operating as separate consciousnesses again. So, what if the Hulk's consciousness exists in a space that Doctor Strange's spell couldn't fully penetrate? Magic affects the mind, but the Hulk's mind isn't entirely human, and it was buried deep inside Banner's subconscious. It's something primal, something that might exist outside the normal parameters of mystical influence. Let's look at the evidence that supports this theory. First, consider how the Hulk processes information differently than Banner. The Hulk remembers things that Banner sometimes doesn't, and vice versa. They're two sides of the same coin, but they don't always share the same memories or awareness. During the events of Infinity War and Endgame, both Banner and the Hulk would have been aware of Spider-Man's identity. But here's the key. They experienced this knowledge in fundamentally different ways. Banner knew it intellectually, as part of the team dynamics and strategic planning. The Hulk, however, might have formed a more instinctual, emotional understanding of Peter Parker. Think about the Hulk's relationship with other young heroes. He's shown protective instincts before, especially toward those he sees as small or vulnerable. The Hulk might have registered Peter not just as Spider-Man the hero, but as small spider friend or young protector, categories that exist in the Hulk's more primitive understanding of relationships. When Strange's spell swept across the world, it targeted the knowledge that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But what if the Hulk's understanding isn't that complex? What if he just knows small friend who helps without the civilian identity connection being the primary association? And what if some sort of that knowledge leaked back over into Banner's mind and memory? If this theory is correct, the implications are massive for Peter Parker's future in the MCU. Imagine Peter struggling alone, thinking he has no allies, no one who remembers their shared history, and then discovering that Bruce Banner and the Hulk remember everything. This could set up an incredible dynamic where Banner becomes a secret mentor figure for Peter. The quirky, awkward scientist could be quite a fun dynamic to see played out between the two. He could be exactly the guidance Peter needs as he navigates his new, isolated existence. But even more interesting is what the Hulk could represent for Peter. The Hulk has always been about protection, protecting the innocent, protecting those who can't protect themselves. If the Hulk remembers Peter and sees him struggling alone, that protective instinct could kick in a major way. Picture this. Peter is in over his head in his next solo adventure. He's facing something beyond his capabilities, and just when all hope seems lost, the Hulk shows up. Not because Banner called him, but because the Hulk independently decided that small spider friend needs help. The emotional weight of this theory is what really makes it compelling. Peter Parker's story in No Way Home is fundamentally about loss and sacrifice. He gives up his connections, his relationships, his support system to save the multiverse. It's heroic, but it's also heartbreaking. If Banner and the Hulk remember, it means Peter isn't as alone as he thinks. It means somewhere out there, someone still knows who he is, what he's sacrificed, and what he's capable of. And for Banner, this could be his chance to be the mentor he never had. Banner's story has always been about control, about managing his demons and finding his place in the world. Helping Peter could be Banner's way of paying forward all the guidance he received from Tony Stark and the other Avengers. Now, there is plenty of discourse and argument about this theory already in the interwebs, some say even debunked, but hey, it's superhero territory and nothing is ever fully debunked. I mean, RDJ is back as the ultimate baddie. Anything can be written into existence. I, for one, love this idea and love that Peter might not be alone. But let's continue on. The Hulk might not be the only one who remembers. Let's look at some other MCU characters who could potentially still know Peter Parker's secret. First up, Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man. Now, Scott wasn't directly involved in the final battle of No Way Home, but here's the crucial detail. Scott has spent significant time in the quantum realm. We know from Ant-Man and the Wasp and Endgame that the quantum realm exists outside normal space-time. It's a dimension where different rules apply, where time flows differently, and where conventional physics break down. What if Scott was in the quantum realm when Doctor Strange cast his spell? The quantum realm might exist in a dimension that Strange's magic doesn't affect. If Scott was quantum-sized or between dimensions when the spell hit, he could have been completely shielded from its effects. Think about what this would mean. Scott knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he fought alongside him in Endgame, and he has no reason to forget that connection. Scott could be walking around right now, completely confused about why everyone's acting like they don't know who Spider-Man is. Another bumbling, awkward sort of scientific mentor for Peter. This could set up some incredible comedic and dramatic moments in the new film. But here's an even wilder possibility. Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. Now, Peter Quill met Spider-Man on Titan during Infinity War. They fought together, they planned together, and Quill definitely knew that this kid was part of the Avengers team. But here's the key question. Was Peter Quill on Earth when Strange cast the spell? The spell might have specifically targeted Earth and everyone who knew Peter Parker's secret. But what if Quill was off-world? What if the Guardians were on some distant planet or in deep space when the mystical wave swept across Earth? Interplanetary magic is tricky business, and there's no guarantee that Strange's spell had a galactic range. What about Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel? Carol was definitely present during the final battle in Endgame. She had that epic moment where she nearly took down Thanos single-handedly. She would have seen Spider-Man in action, potentially even interacted with him during the battle. But here's the thing, Carol spends most of her time in deep space helping other planets and civilizations across the galaxy. There's a real possibility that Carol was light years away when the mystical wave hit. She could be out there right now, completely unaware that everyone on Earth has forgotten Spider-Man's identity. There's also the fascinating question of Vision if he were to return to the MCU. Vision is unique because he's not technically human. He's a synthetic being created from a combination of Friday's AI Matrix, the Mind Stone, and organic tissue. His consciousness operates on a completely different level than human minds. When Strange cast his spell to affect people's memories and knowledge, would it even work on an artificial consciousness? The more you think about it, the more you realize that Strange's spell, while powerful, might have some significant blind spots. And each of these potential gaps represents a way for Peter to rediscover his connections and his support system. Looking ahead, this theory opens up incredible possibilities for Spider-Man's next film, Brand New Day, or even the next Avengers films. More importantly, this theory suggests that Peter's sacrifice in No Way Home wasn't as complete as it seemed. Maybe he didn't lose everything. He still has allies. He still has support, even if he doesn't know it yet. And when he finally discovers that Banner, Scott, Quill, and potentially others remember, it could be one of the most emotional moments in MCU history. What do you think about this theory? Does it change how you view the ending of No Way Home? Could Banner and the Hulk be Peter's secret guardians in the MCU? Am I off my rocker once again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what other theories you want me to explore next. Thanks for humoring me for a moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time.